If I had to restart my photography business today with no experience, no clients, and just a cheap camera, this is the exact system that I'd follow. I get asked all the time, basically, like, hey, Eli, what would you do if you had to restart? And so I'm making a video on that specifically, and I actually put together this full guide that I'm gonna walk you through, but in the comments, you can also download this exact guide and go through it on your own time as well. I'm just gonna add a little bit to it. So the thing that I think if you watch any of my content, you probably know about me, which is I think a lot of photographers, at least in real estate media, there's plenty of people who don't make very much money, and it's truly because they just focus on the wrong things. So in this guide, I'm going to try to show you what to focus on and the system that I would follow, because the system is what makes the business grow, and that's where you get the results from. So jumping straight into it, I mean, the goal of this guide is to teach you how to go from 0 to 10K a month shooting real estate without fancy gear. You don't need a huge portfolio. You don't have to shoot a ton of luxury homes. You don't even have to know how to use a camera. When you start, obviously everybody starts that way, but I think a lot of people are like, oh, Eli, I can't start a real estate media business. I don't have photography experience. And it's like, well, nobody does when they start, right? None of us are born with photography experience. And so what people think is that maybe experience shooting portraits or weddings or anything like that is going to help them. I don't think it helps at all. I think it's a completely different thing that you just need to learn. And so that's what we're gonna do in this guide. Quick overview, I'm gonna be going through what gear to use, the specific $600 camera that we recommend, how to shoot a house, settings, that kind of stuff, how to actually get clients, really important, how to message agents the right way, how to edit photos fast. I'm gonna connect you with an AI photo editing company that's newer on the scene, and it's a great way to get started as a beginner. And then how to get paid, basically money math. I love doing that, breaking down how many shoots you need to hit a certain goal. So a couple things, and I would encourage you, if you haven't yet, to download this guide. You can follow along with me if you like, or at least review it after. But I think knowing what to do is just as important as knowing what not to do. And a lot of people don't spend time thinking what not to do. They just do everything, and then they realize after, they're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. So here's what doesn't matter. You don't need a $3,000 camera. You don't need expensive setup, right? Start with what you have. You don't need a website at all. I actually don't recommend ever making one. I mean, we have plenty of people we've worked with from zero that now do more than $50,000 a month in revenue, still don't have a website. You need a client order form online and like a business management system that's different than a website. I'll talk more about that in a minute. You don't have to learn how to use any editing software at all. I think I actually reference him in this guide, but we had a student named Edwin, and a lot of people have done this. I just remember Edwin's story because he came and told it here on YouTube. If you go to the lives and you type Edwin, you'll see it. But he grew to over $10,000 a month and didn't even own an editing software. I think it's a complete waste of time, and so many photographers spend so much time learning editing, and it doesn't help their business move forward. You don't need to have any past clients or anything like that. You'll need referrals eventually, but not to get started. And you don't need a perfect brand or a logo. In fact, you don't even need a company name. You can just shoot under your own name at the start. Those are things that people think they need because it gives them comfort to like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm a professional, therefore clients, if I have all this stuff, clients are going to think more highly of me. Really, that doesn't matter at all. They're just not going to think of you at all until you reach out and find them. So anyway, what actually matters, you have to know how to shoot good photos. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You have to know how to actually send a direct message that gets someone to take you up on it, right? Like you have to know how to actually get a client. Because step back and think about it for a second. Even if you're the best real estate photographer in the world, if you like from a skills perspective, if nobody knows who you are, you don't have any business. So getting clients is really important. Getting repeat clients is really important. So how to do that job well enough, how to get clean photos fast. It's important to be able to deliver good quality photos, but it's really important that they don't take you all day to do one shoot, because you're not going to make any money if you do that. You're going to make less than you could at least. How to repeat that process and grow to a client base of 60 agents, which is the reason I use 60 agents. For most people, around 60 agents is when they'll hit their first 10K month, especially if we're in the busier time of year. So you don't need a million clients to do this, right? And that's the core. Everything else is just nonsense. I put some fun wins in here just to show you. It's like, I think when I was growing my business, like I like to see people that, were just a few steps ahead of me, and those wins were important to see, but it was also the stuff that was like, how is that even possible? So someone here that just hit 7 figures overall in revenue, they grew to, within 4 years, they did 250K a year average, but the last couple of years were bigger, which is super cool. Someone did a first 50K month that was on vacation for 11 days. So that's kind of farther than you are now, but I want to show you what's possible, because one of the biggest mistakes I made when I was first getting started is I genuinely did not think big enough. And I know that sounds stupid, but it led me to make small plays, basically, instead of think, hey, how could I build a business that generates $1 million in revenue? That's over 4 years, but then it's like, what's the next step? How can I do that in a year, kind of thing? So anyway, first thing is get the minimum gear and do a practice shoot. So the gear's here. There's also a link to my gear kit below. Well, here it is right here. It's kit.co/itselijones. You just need a basic camera, a wide enough angle lens, a tripod, and a memory card. Eventually you can get a gimbal and a drone and stuff like that, but when you're first getting started, just get this, especially if if you're money limited right now. If you do want to build the full kit, it's all linked here, but get this cheap stuff. And this is a story I put in here that we did on purpose, and I love that we did this. But we switched our entire business over a few years ago to Canon M50 cameras, which are really cheap entry-level cameras. I actually recommend the R50 now, which is the slightly earlier or the slightly newer version. But it's just a fun test, and like it didn't make any difference in my photo business. Truthfully, the only reason why we switched back to the one I recommend in this kit link above is because a couple things. One, it's physically bigger. I think it looks a little better for clients to see a bigger camera, but that doesn't really matter. The main reason, it's just easier to use when it's bigger if you're shooting constantly like my team is, and also the battery life is better, so we're not having to change batteries like a couple times a day. You can get through pretty much a whole day with one battery. So before you shoot your first home for a client, shoot your own house. You don't need a huge portfolio. If you live in an apartment, I get a lot of people that are like, Eli, like I get it, but my house is a mess and it's not nice. It's like, great. Well, one, good reason to clean it up. Number two, it's okay. It doesn't have to be nice. Like most of the houses that we shoot are going to be average, if that makes sense. And that's good to have an average shoot in your portfolio because most of the houses you shoot are average. So like when agents see it, they're like, oh, the last thing you want is to, try to make it happen to where you shoot the nicest house in your town and oops, oh man, we're skipping ahead. We can't be doing that. And then you like wait forever and you finally get this shoot. Maybe you have to rent the house to do it. And then an agent sees it and they're like, oh, they only shoot luxury. And then you don't get to shoot. So like your portfolio should represent the houses you're going to shoot. My guess is you live in an average place. If yours is really too bad or you don't want to shoot it, like ask a friend, go to a model home in a new build community, something like that. The biggest thing here is don't think I'll get started once I have better gear. Like I put in here, you're not building a photography hobby. You're not trying to collect gear and have fun with it. Like you're trying to be surgical about this. You want this specific gear you need to get the goal, whatever that goal is for you. So anyway, here's a cool win I put in here. Someone that used to make this as their biweekly paycheck and made it in a day. So I am very much a photo business guy. Sure, I like photography, but I really don't. Like I like what you can do with photography. And so I always like to bring the monetary wins in there because I think that's, none of us would shoot real estate for free. So hopefully it gives you a little bit of motivation to see that. All right. So now that we've kind of gone over roughly like your first move, which is the gear, and you just need to shoot your house for a portfolio. The next step is, and this kind of feeds into it, this is how you shoot your house and this is how you're going to do your first shoot. So you can pause this video. These are my exact camera settings. Just put those in your camera. Don't overthink it. Start inside the house. My recommendation is you start inside because as you can see here, you avoid tracking dirt into the home if you do the outside first and then you walk through. So anyway, start inside, start on one side of the house and work your way back so you don't forget anything. End with the exterior. And then don't forget the customer service element. Like tell the people, if it's your house, it's different. But if you're at a client shoot, especially those first few, like be really thoughtful about turning off the lights, closing the doors, letting the homeowners know you're done, that kind of stuff. When you're actually shooting, and I have videos on my full workflow, so you can go a little more in depth if you need to. I have a video on my YouTube where I actually like shoot a whole house, so you can watch that. But like, here's the main heads up rules. So keep the verticals straight. That means don't tilt your camera down. Don't like go into the corner of the room and shoot down into the room. Don't do that. Shoot straight on and shoot straight on at waist level. Commit to the shot. So either get a perfectly straight on shot or get a super angled shot. Don't do an almost straight on, as I call it. The only time you're going to raise your tripod is really in the kitchen. You want to bring it up a little bit so you don't see the underside of the cabinet, if that makes sense. And for a shoot, I'd overshoot a little. Key here is not to overshoot a lot though. So like, let's say you're delivering a 40 photo package or a 30 photo package. Maybe this first few shoots, shoot 40 or 45. Don't shoot 80 because when you shoot 80, number one, you're going to have a terrible time reducing them to the number of photos. You're going to waste so much time, and that matters when you start getting busier. But also, if you shoot 80 photos, you're not thoughtful about the angles you choose. So kind of pretend like you can only shoot 40. Really dial it in. This is, by the way, like this is the exact settings we use in my photo business. I'm not holding anything back. Like these are the settings we use. Obviously there's like nuance to the shots and stuff, and there's like rules that you have to learn. They're not just this, but like this is enough to get you started. This is the exact workflow we use and we teach. So use it. Don't reinvent it. Technically, there are ways you could probably get slightly better photos, but at like 3 times the length. Like you maybe could bring a flash in, but I don't think that's going to be a good idea. All right, here's a fun one. 14K, someone hit in December. December is generally a slower month in real estate media, but slow does not mean dead. So I think that was cool. Their goal was to hit 6 and they hit 14. Anyway, okay, so now we've gone over basic gear you'll need. Don't overcomplicate that. And we've gone over a little bit of the shooting process, but really you need to know, like, up until this point, your goal is to shoot your house and get some practice shots. And then we're moving very quickly into step 3. Like, again, this is the framework that I would follow if I lost all my experience, right? Which is hard because I wouldn't have this framework, but you do, which is good. So anyway, next step is to offer a free shoot. Now this one, I may spend a little bit more time on because people get mentally messed up from this bad. I don't know what it is. You'll hear a lot of people say know your worth in the industry. And know your worth is almost always said by people who don't make very, very much money. Or people who took 20 years to make the money they make now. Neither of those you want. You want to go fast and you want to get to the point of making money. So in my opinion, offering a free shoot is one of the smartest ways to get clients, but only if it's done intentionally. This isn't, you're not just giving away free to get experience. Like, that's not this. You're using it as a lead magnet. So this isn't about blasting copy and paste direct messages on Instagram. You don't want to burn through leads. You want to be strategic about it. And of course, how you do it matters. So that's what I'm going to show you in here. This is a mistake a lot of people make, is they'll go, great, Eli says send a bunch of Instagram messages. So they copy and paste the same messages to 100 agents. They don't get any results, and they might even get banned on Instagram. Don't do that. Here's what I recommend. So pick 20 to 30 agents in your area. We want to do a test batch because, especially if you don't know the exact message and you're not, we're not working with you in coaching where we can be like, okay, send exactly this. We have a system that creates a new custom message every time. It's a software that we give you access to. And so that's why I'm saying test. If you don't have access to that software, you really need to test, because the last thing you want to do is burn all of your leads. So here's what I recommend. Pick 20 to 30 agents. Spend 30 to 60 seconds looking at each of them. Like, spend 60 seconds on their profile, right? Find something they're interested in and send a personalized message to them, offering a free shoot. It's a free shoot, no strings attached, to get your name out there. You'd love to show them the quality of your work. If they want to work with you again in the future, they can, but no pressure. It's just a free shoot. So again, you're giving one shoot per agent as a lead magnet, not as I'm gaining experience. It's like, hey, I'm so confident in this that I want to give you, it's like you go to Costco, there's free samples. You go to any website that sells something, it's like free money back policy, or in this case, what we're trying to match is like a free trial, right? So it's just a strategy. Big thing you want to keep in mind when you send these messages is you're not going to get 100% response rate. And in fact, you might even send all 20 to 30, let's say you do it in a day or two, and get no responses for the first little bit. That's okay. So here's what you're looking for. You're aiming for about 10% of agents to say that they're interested. That's not a yes, but that's interested. So every 10 DMs you send, you want to get one reply for every 10. But here's the thing. It doesn't always, like I said here, it doesn't always come instantly. You have to kind of wait for the data to age. So some agents might respond 2 to 3 weeks later. A few will follow up a month after. I actually had one. This is crazy. This happened, I don't know, probably 2 months ago at this point. We got a direct message from an agent on Instagram replying to one of our free shoot offers from 2018. And this is 2025 at the point of filming this, 7 years later. Now, most of them don't take 7 years. You can't wait 7 years to get results, right? But it just goes to show you there's a long tail in this. The majority will respond in a month or two. The majority that are going to respond will respond in a month or two. So just consider this kind of like farming. You're planting seeds and you don't harvest the seeds the day you plant them. So biggest thing I would say is track your replies. If you get below this 10%, you're doing it wrong. So adjust the message. Don't just say, Eli told me to do the Instagram method. It doesn't work. Like, a lot of the gold is on the other side of a little bit more work than you expected. And so just keep that in mind. Stick with the plan. Don't let your emotions, guide you astray by making you go, oh, I'm going to give up. It's not going to work, Silence is not failure. It's a funnel. Think about it like a pipeline. I think a pipeline is probably the word I should put in there. It's like, let's say you're moving oil on a pipeline, right? And it's like 20 miles long. Like, when you put oil in one end, it doesn't immediately come out this end. There's a delay, a lag. So that's what there is in this case, is you put oil in, you send DMs on one side, but the oil doesn't come out downstream. Stream is probably not the right word. We don't want any oil in the river, but out the pipeline 20 miles later. So anyway. All right, so here's kind of an overview of what this funnel looks like. Let me go back up here. So you send 50 messages, personalized, not copy and paste. 5 agents reply with interest, so you got the 10%. 4 of them take you up on the free shoot. 3 become repeat clients. So now you just repeat those 50 messages 20 times and you have a great business. Now, sounds simple. I promise you a couple things are going to happen. 1, you're going to run into little errors or your messages aren't going to convert at that level or whatever. You just got to work through that. Number 2, it sounds easy to just send a bunch of messages. but it's boring. And a lot of people just give up because it's boring. And so the work to become successful may be boring, but the outcome is not. And you can't confuse the two. People say, you hear someone that's built a good business say like they put in the work and they grinded. What does that mean? It doesn't mean it was terrible all the time. It doesn't mean it was brutally hard. Sometimes boring is the hardest thing. So just get ready to be a little bored, but maybe a reframe. I always say it's boring, but I was talking with a guy named Justin. You actually can go to our lives on YouTube. He was on there and he was like, it's not boring. It's awesome. Like maybe the task isn't that fun, but the result is anything but boring. So just something to keep in mind. And one of the things, and I'm not trying to just make this a direct pitch for coaching, but like the reason I'm saying to go slow is because one of the worst things that happens is someone sees this. They don't do this. They say, Eli says message agents on Instagram. And they message 1,000 agents. Like they find all the agents in their area, right? There's probably more than 1,000, but they message 1,000. They don't get much results, and now they've kind of wasted those leads. So really important, unless we're working with you specifically where we can dial in those messages with you and get feedback with you in real time, test small. You don't want to waste a ton. And you're looking for that 10%. If you're getting less than that, don't send more messages. Crack the code on why your messages aren't converting. Just kind of a final thing here. Maybe you're bought in. Maybe you're like, Eli, I got you on the free shoots. Or maybe you still have a little bit like, man, I don't want to do free shoots. Like, I've heard other people say it's not bad. Or like, I told someone about this and they're like, that's not how you should grow a business. Or worse, an agent says you shouldn't offer free. Be really careful who you take advice from. You really want to look at people who have done what you're trying to do. And that's not me saying, listen to me. So many people have used this strategy. It's the people I see growing the fastest use this strategy. And so don't be tricked by people who think they're helping you by saying don't offer free, but don't really understand the full funnel that you're building. They're just seeing it from the surface. So the photographers who grew the fastest are the ones who send intentional, thoughtful DMs, offer a free shoot, and do that over and over and over. And again, this isn't 10 shoots for the same person. It's not I'm going to do free until I'm experienced. It's I'm already ready to go. You get one shoot to test it out kind of thing. All right, let's see. Here's a cool one. Someone made $82K 8 months into starting their business. $82K total, not in a month, but $27K was in December. So their business is like on an upward trajectory. Anyway, I just thought that was cool. I like putting the wins in there. You guys probably, and everybody watching, if you've watched a lot of my content, I like to talk about that because I think for me, when I was first starting my business, seeing other people succeeding at what I want is not something I had the first few years. And it wasn't fun, honestly. Like once I started realizing there was this like industry around real estate media and I started seeing other people and hearing about their businesses, it made me so much more motivated to do the boring work. And so I think getting motivated by wins like this are, not required, but certainly helpful when it comes to being successful. Okay, step 4. So we've gone through, kind of what gear you need, a rough outline on you need to shoot your own house, and then you need to start offering shoots to clients. Like don't add anything to this, by the way. Like just follow this if you can. The next is once you do the shoot, it's like you just end up, if you follow our process, with a bunch of raw photos. What do you do with those? So you're going to need to get them edited, right? Because every photo is going to be 3 individual photos, an underexposed, a middle exposure, and an overexposed. We need to blend those together. I want you to promise me, if you're watching this video, you're invested, you're 18 minutes in. So I appreciate that. And I'm going to try to save you so much time here, but I need you to help me by making a promise that you are never going to learn how to edit real estate photos. Not to save a client in a pinch, nothing like that. Those are all things people tell themselves, you don't need that. I mean, here's an example, right? You might think, I want full control. A silly one I hear all the time is like, man, are you really a photographer if you can't edit? I don't know. I don't care. All I know is you shouldn't edit. So it'll save money if I just do it myself. I'll outsource later once I'm busier. Huge mistakes. Because all that time you're going to have to spend learning how to edit, all that time you're going to spend editing is time you should have been doing reach out and finding clients. That's the fastest way to get paid. So I want you to promise me you will never edit a single real estate photo. But in exchange, I'm going to show you how to get them edited really easily. Because you can outsource them. There's a site called Pixelmob, Pixlmob, where you can find an editor, but I think there's a better way now that's AI photo editing. So I'll show you here. It's called Auto HDR. Great guy, guy who owned a real estate media business named Matt, founded this business, built an awesome AI software. And so if you go to autohdr.com, if you use the /rep, they give you, I believe, 30 free edits. So take advantage of that and get your photos edited. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the photos off your camera and send them directly to Auto HDR. And in 30 minutes or less, you are going to get delivery-ready photos. And if there's a little change, you just circle it in the app and it changes it for you. It's AI. Super cool. And you can get this done depending on how many images you send over time, I mean, first you get 30 for free. So remember your test shoot of your house for your portfolio? Not really your portfolio, for a single reference shoot when an agent asks, wherever that was, do the practice shoot, you can get that edited for free. So you don't even have to pay money because the first one's, 30 photos are free. The cool thing about Auto HDR is you only pay when you download the photos. So don't download them unless you want to use them, Anyway, so you're going to end up paying like $15 to $30, per shoot, depending on how much you pay for edit. Don't pay $1 for editing. There's no, Auto HDR is less. I wonder if it says the pricing on here. Let's just click. Let's have some fun and click. I can tell you exactly. So 53 cents a photo is how much you'll pay. So there's no reason to be paying anywhere near this. So you should be paying like $20 a shoot to get your photos edited and back in 30 minutes. It's crazy. Try it out. When I first started, I was like, this is absolutely too good to be true. Just it's a cool time to be in real estate media. There's so much advancement. The industry's just like continuing to get better. When I first started, it was like video technology was nowhere near what it is now. It's so much harder to make a video. Editing was a pain. There wasn't really 3-bracket HDR, so you didn't get good. It's just a great time to be in real estate media. Anyway, you're joining because like this is new at the time of filming. This has been out for like a couple months, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, just another to double down on the promise I made you make. I've never heard of a photographer that started outsourcing and is like, man, I wish I didn't do this. Like they all say, I wish I started sooner. You're not building an editing business, you're building a real estate media company. Don't waste that time. Like I talked about at the start, like it's important to know what to do. It's almost equally, if not more important, to know what not to do. So can't afford not to outsource. Here's a cool win. This is a guy who's actually been on our live, so I don't even need to blur that. His name's Emmaus, and he did 26K by month 9. Super cool. Okay. Step 5, repeat the process and get paid. So the framework I showed you with like defining the client, a lot of people overcomplicate their business by saying like, okay, what else? It's like nothing else, more of what you already know. So one free shoot is the beginning. Here's how it stacks. Again, you're not offering free shoots to build a portfolio. You're doing it to build repeatable income from clients. So reach out to agents, one free shoot per agent to prove your value, deliver fast, high quality edits, follow up, and become their photographer. The biggest, benefit to I want you to think of your business like a snowball rolling down a hill. So in order to get that snowball rolling, you got to first like take some loose snow and you pack it together, right? And then you have to like push it and it gets a little bigger and you push it a little bit more, but eventually it gets big enough and it starts getting momentum that it kind of rolls down that hill by itself, and that's when it really grows fast. You pushing and packing the snowball together is doing the Instagram method that I just gave you an overview on, right? That's doing it. But eventually referrals are going to take over if you serve your clients well. So if you think about it like that, we want to do everything we can to get the first couple clients fast, and that's what the free shoot thing does. You could be like, Eli, I'm never offering a free shoot. I just promise you a couple months in, you'll be making less money if you don't. Free shoot is the key. Here's some math. I think I kind of said we're going to do money math at the start. So here we are. Assuming $250 per shoot, average order value, that's going to include your bigger shoots where you have drone, video, and then just some basic photo shoots. $250 per shoot. If you even do 5 shoots a week, that's $1,250 times 4 weeks is $5,000 a month. Now, there's actually more than 4 weeks in a month. It's like 4.25 in the average month. So like call it 6K, but whatever, 5K. So you either to get to 10K, 5 shoots a week. First of all, is very little. You could do 5 shoots in one day. A lot of real estate photographers do that. So one shoot, you're going to be on site roughly an hour, especially when you're first getting started. You have to drive to and from the shoot, but just keep that in mind. So that's like on shoot, on location. That's like once you get a little bit more experience, that's 5 hours for $1,250. Pretty good hourly rate. Now, you have to take expenses out of that. You have to drive to the shoot. You have to have your photos edited. You have to buy the equipment. You have to pay for $5 a project for like photo delivery if you use something like Spiro. So just something to keep in mind. But to reach 10K a month, you either do more shoots, which is what most people do. You work on raising your average order value. So $250 is the lowest it should be. That's average, right? So you get some shoots that are expensive, some shoots that are not. But eventually you'll work on getting more volume and increasing your AOV. Here's some wins in here. This is cool. It's the biggest week at 3,500. I got a bunch more wins at the bottom too. Download this and read all these wins. I'm not going to go through them all in here, but that's my overview. Obviously, there's some nuance in there. So if you have any questions, ask them in the comments. As you know, what I get to do for a living now, my way of scaling my business past the point of being in Dallas-Fort Worth, where Norman and Young is now and continues to run, is I decided my model is going to be to teach others to do this. And so if you want us to help you do this faster and give you a step-by-step, I mean, this is what you get inside of coaching. And if this is interesting to you, there'll be a link below where you can talk with my team about the specifics, because we need to make sure that it works in your market. Like there's enough people, it's the right market for it. We need to make sure you have enough time to commit to it, and we can kind of help you figure out what that would be. But if you decide that launch is right for you and our team thinks we can, it's a good fit based on your market and everything, you get a personal one-on-one coach on my team that's amazing. It's, first of all, it's not like we have this like army of 1,000 coaches. Like we have a small team of high performers that their goal is to be, and what they do, what I pay them to do, their full-time thing is to be your one-on-one coach. You get direct access to me via calls that I do every week, live calls on Zoom. Jump in and ask me questions. Bunch of other photographers who have graduated our program and are doing big months host calls. We actually have two actually. One, Todd, his business does over $300,000 a month in busy months. Colleen does over $100,000 a month, and she's one of our weekly guest coaches. Bunch of cool stuff, and you get a literal week by week checklist that leaves none of it to guesswork. It tells you exactly what to do week by week to launch your business, as well as that software I said you get access to that generates DMs. All of our scripts, templates, like it's our business in a box, so to speak. Now you have to do the work. So you basically get to license all the things we created, all the processes for our business, and just use it in yours. So if you're not a figure it out on your own type person and you want to go fast, speed's important, you want to make less mistakes, and you just value learning from a team, from people who have done what you're trying to do before exactly, that's who this is for. And I encourage you, if you haven't just talked to my team, there's a link below this video, but you can just go to replaunch.com/apply. I have an awesome team that's the first step, is getting on a call with one of our team members and talking about what this would look like to you. So anyway, we'll go through your market, what it looks like, where you're stuck, if you're stuck, or if you're just like, hey, I don't want to get stuck, here's what I'm thinking. Like, we'll talk about your plan and give you a 30 to 90 day plan. Even if you're not like, cool, yeah, I don't want to do it right now, I just wanted to get info on it, like, awesome. That's not me. You'll learn that about the way I run my business and the people I hire for my business. We're not hard close, high pressure. I don't believe in that. I want people who have decided, hey, I want to do this. And so if you're not there yet, get on the call and we can give you more info. If you're like, I want to do this, then we'll get on the call and we'll talk specifically about coaching. So get on the call with us. And in the meantime, go book your call. But also below this video, like not in this video, but below it, you'll see a link to download this. A bunch of cool wins you can read through. I just put a bunch in here for fun. So I hope this has been of value to you. This is literally an overview of the process I would follow. A lot of people, like I said, want to make it complicated. I don't believe in that. Sure, there's some little things you're going to have to fill out here and there. I can't literally give you everything on a 30-minute video, but I can give you a good roadmap. So follow this. Biggest thing is don't get distracted. It is way more important to focus on the things that you should not do and avoid all that, so you can just cut everything away and do the one thing you should. So I appreciate you for watching. Hopefully we'll get to see you inside of coaching. I'll see you later.